You hear me okay? The YouTube room, I hope you can hear me this time. I know we had some problems. Today is all about just ask me almost anything about trading, not about other things. So, just to let you know. So, right now, just wanted to ask you question and answers. I just put a link to get a 30% discount for our room for the Chart Patterns Mastery room. So we got that going. And we had a class on Friday. It doesn't include that, but we had a good time. And I tried to give a ton of content, sort of like a book. So it seemed to go over really, really well. So I don't know if there are any questions, but I'll show you historically what I think. If that's okay with everybody, I'm happy to show that. What I'm seeing is this, and I copied and pasted it earlier, and let me see if I could do it again. Let's see. And it's funny, this is actually online somewhere. It's just harder to find than you'd think. But there you go. And that's one of the reasons I posted in there. I don't know if I can post it in the Restream room. I can't, but I'll show you what we're talking about. So you could always pause your screen later. That's sort of small, but basically it's showing the historical tendencies every year. And you're going to see that most of the time you go up in November until Turkey Day. I'm telling you right now, I've seen a million times that you get this sort of Teflon market that refuses to go lower, even if you have 8 million warning signs. So just want to let you know that's what I'm seeing in here. Number one. Number two is I thought I'd show you the bond stock relationship. So number one today, it's just longer term stuff of spreads we did. But this is what happened last year. So I know I obsess about watching interest rates, but at this time of year, it sort of detaches. I'll show you what I mean. So this is the bond market last year. Went straight up. Straight up. And let me know if this is what you want to see, but this is stuff I'm doing and saves your butt today if you tried to go massively short. That's December 15th. That's right in here that it went up from the beginning of November. So the thing in here is now go on, look on the left on the SPX. So the typical stuff that happens at holiday time. It's a pain in the rump. I just want to make that clear. Pain in the rump. And that's why you have to be extremely careful at this time of year. You just got to be well, you get bonus time. So sorry about that. Is that okay if I stay on? That's a long time. So I did it. It's Central. Yeah, Central, not one. So I'm hoping I'm not jumping on anybody's toes. So give me 1 second. No. So I messed that up. So you get me for extra time. So just keep that in mind. Hey, Mitch. So the way I look at it in here is this. This is what happened last year. Yeah, you had this on the left. That's the SPX. It doesn't mean it's going to happen every time. I'm just talking about that at a holiday time you get screwy stuff. So on the left was the SPX. On the right, yeah, bond stabilized. SPX went up. Bonds sold off to test the low. SPX went up. Bonds went straight up. Guess what? SPX went down. Yeah, it's amazing. So the only thing you could do in here is try to respect chart patterns and historical up to Thanksgiving. Up to Thanksgiving. So that's the way I look at it. Now, so this sort of goes hand in hand till really near Thanksgiving. Now, right here, That little sell-off, that's because the VIX futures expired. So just VIX options. So just VIX futures, I think it is. But right in there. So just keep that in mind that you get that little torque down. Then you get that rally at the end of the year. But the more powerful rally usually is the Russell, which has been acting terrible. So last year, SPX on the left, the terrible Russell, and went up right here. Very end of the year till the middle of February. So just keep that in mind in there of how a lot of times it'll follow the SPX and then it has a mind of its own. So that was 2021, believe it or not, that I just showed you on the left. Now we'll go into 2022. I think you'll be surprised on how similar. Look at that. Yeah, just like it, just like 2021. Same kind of thing. So same kind of thing. So that's why right now you have to respect not going crazy on the short side. We did some stuff, but we did IWM also. So some good, some bad, but basically ahead. So you just have to hedge yourself in here. Now, there's a couple of other things going on. So, and I'll show you some of the stuff I watch, the correlation kind of stuff. So let me show you what we're talking about. So this is, I look at a number of correlations. So I look at the bonds, not as much at this time of year, but I look at the bond market. And what I'm going to do, by the way, is I'm going to go till 12:30 Eastern and then come back at 12 at 1. So I'll do a half hour and then a half hour and give you a rest from listening to me. So these are the correlations I'm watching. Here's the bond market. On the right is the Dow Jones Commodity Index that includes oil. So a lot of times this goes hand in hand. Well, not exactly, but while this had a trend down, this had a trend up. So it doesn't work perfect. Like you see, that went down and this went down. Well, not really. It actually went up into May. So it went up this, but if this gets over this, it's always extremes. So if this gets over that, yeah, I think the bond market will listen, even though the bond market's already had a rotten, year. So that's one thing. So I'm definitely watching the commodity index that includes oil. Now we're long oil, and I thought I'd go over why we were long oil, long USO. So one of the reasons is, give me 1 second. One of the reasons that we were long oil, and this is just from me being on the floor and stuff, I was on the CBOE a long time, is crude oil looked terrible. I know it looked terrible, but it was near support. Crude oil, not USO. So crude oil was near support, good support. More times you have prior tops, the more it's support. But this is the thing, we were watching the option volume in USO last week. So if I go last week, so a lot of times options precede price, especially if the options are ridiculously skewed toward calls. So we bought it when the calls in USO were 90,000 and the puts were 11,000. That was for 3 days. That's the other thing. If you're going to watch unusual option activity, it needs to be persistent option activity. So that's why we are long USO. Does it look great on a chart? No. Could it fill this gap? Yeah, and then I'll be out. I mean, I'm not sure it's going to do that, but then I'll be out. Now, I'll show you. Let's look at open interest. There. See the 6,000? That's what happened last week. So not much on the put side. How about for the next month? Not much. I mean, for the next expiration. How about January? Holy cow, look at that open interest. So you might say there's some over here. Yeah, about 25,000. Heck, this is 60,000. So that's why I said options precede price. So it's still not in a massive bull market. So massive bull market, no. You got to be real careful about being long if it gets overbought. But that's where option activity can matter, no doubt. So now, will it help with the SPX? Well, just keep in mind we have the CPI tomorrow. CPI, big deal. It's a bit, I mean, not big deal sarcastically, it's a big deal. I've gone back about a year, and almost every time the day before the CPI, because the theory is you'd think that traders would want to flatten before the close. It hasn't worked that way. It's followed the bond market almost literally. So today the bond market's down 6. This is unchanged. Almost unchanged, almost unchanged. It's amazing how that works. So just, keep that in the back of your mind about that. The NASDAQ is so far ahead of the ES, I'm not surprised to see it down. So not surprised to see it down. So right now, you see this. So bonds down, this moderately down. That's all I'm watching. But I thought I'd show you this because we have extra time. So I post this on the box charts. We have box charts on our site that I put in charts every Sunday night, Tuesday night, and Thursday night. So I'll show you what we're talking about. So you go into our site, you go to Chart Patterns Mastery in the dashboard, and you go to box charts. Now, I've been gone in Orlando and all that, so you'll see it hasn't been exactly every 2 days. But you have the 12th, the 7th, the 5th. And the reason I'm showing you that is because I post the upcoming earnings coming out, the earnings calendar for the week, the most important ones, and the earnings, and then a lot of charts. So then a lot of charts. So the thing in here is this. I went back, and if you want this, let me just copy and paste it. And let me see if I can put that in the Restream room. There. So that's in the Restream. Now, you might ask, well, that's this week. Then what I do is I go to filters. I go to this week. I go to filters. And very U.S. centric, but that's what's moving the U.S. markets. So you go to United States, and then I take the most important. And there it pops out the things you're looking at. CPI, PPI, retail sales, initial jobless claims, and all that stuff. The reason I'm showing you this is I went back for a year. So I went and did this. So I just went to like last year. An end date. If I can get it to work. There. So I went all the way back to 2022. This is the kind of stuff I'm doing in the background, just to let you know. This is the kind of stuff I'm doing. So what I'm watching in there is I'm going back. So I like to see if things correlate, like revert, like traders flatten before the close and all that. So here's the CPI last year that came out on November 10th. So I go to November 9th because the theory is, oh, the market's flattened before the close. So let's go to November 9th. Come out the following day. So I just go to on demand using Thinkorswim, and I go back last year to the day before. So all I'm doing is doing this. I'm going to November 10th and going to November 9th, the day before, seeing where everything flattens. So I go back to here and see if there are relationships we should know about. So on the right, I'm going to put on the left, I'm going to put the 24-hour ES. So you don't have to do that. We could go, well, this is at 5:30. That's okay. And on the right, the 24-hour ZB. And we could do this TLT and SPX. I think that's safer. SPX and then the 20-year bond on the right. So what do you notice in here? Well, typical November garbage. I'll show you. There. So this didn't exactly work. Yeah, bonds did nothing. S&P down 79. Oh, right from the chart patterns of mastery. So it didn't work. It didn't work. So let's go to the next one. This is the kind of stuff I'm doing. Doesn't mean it's going to work. I'm going on, should I do anything? That's all I'm doing. So December 12th. So let's go to December 12th. All right, what did it do on December 12th? Let's see if it works. Up 34, up 56. As you say, it isn't working. So when I see that kind of divergence, now that's only 2 months, and that's the holiday time, which I told you is always a pain. So let's go into the normal, like first of the year. Let's see if it works there. CPI on the 12th. So we're going to go to the 11th. So just to let you know, these are things I'm doing in the background. 12th, go to the 11th. I'm just double checking because they have it on Thursday and Wednesday and this week, Tuesday. So let's see January 11th if it works. Let's see if it works. Maybe the time of year makes a difference. Up 169, up 50. There you go. That one worked. That's the day before. So they correlated. So let's go to the next month. This, like I said, this is the kind of stuff I'm doing in the background. Valentine's Day, day before Valentine's Day. Let's see what happened. So bonds up 169, TLT, SPX up a lot. So let's go to February 13th. It's still pre-buffering on the upper left, so it hasn't filled in yet. There. Up 46, up 87. Not bad. You know, this overshot a little, but not bad. So both up is the point. All right, let's go to the next one. Like I said, I'll be on the normal time soon. I mean, at 1 Eastern. So this is just some bonus time because I got on too early. So CPI, March 14th. So let's go to March 13th. Give me 1 second. So right here, what happened? SPX down 5, TLT, well, it sold off, not much. So the only thing I can tell you in here, unless the TLT is a real big extreme, it doesn't seem to make a difference. TLT down 37 cents, SPX down 1. So just nothing yet. So I just want to show you that, nothing yet. The only thing I can tell you, the NASDAQ finally underperforming somewhat. So bonds rallied a little, NASDAQ sold off. NASDAQ's been way ahead of itself. So that's where I am right now. So it ends up, I'm going to be on for another little, only a couple of more minutes. So that's the scheduling. So let me just, so that's what I'm watching right now. So usually when I see this, like I said, it's extremely tough at this time of year, but I look for what's acting lousy. So at the moment, it's not the SPX, it's the NDX. So that's what I'm watching. That finally it stopped going up. That's about all, that it just won't go up today. So just like on Friday, I mentioned that it just didn't want to go down. Well, today it doesn't really want to go up. So that's where I am. So Mitch or anybody, any questions? Restream, like I said, I got on early. I'm going to stay on probably another 20 minutes. So any other questions? I was just showing you the relationships I'm looking at. So bonds upticked on the upper right, ES uptick. So they are sort of going hand in hand for now. Well, this is the way I look at today. If you want to see what I'm watching to see that if the NASDAQ bounces, which it did, what stocks don't go up. And those might be the ones I'm going to play. But if I play them, they're only going to be intraday. I just don't want a lot of positions into the CPI. I can always react afterwards. See this? Now, I'm not saying I'm playing UMP, but that's your bear flag that I did in the class. UMP is a little a little thin, but transport related. So that's what we were showing in the class. That's a beautiful thing. So do I see it in any of the stocks I'm watching? No. I'm seeing that a ton of stocks I'm watching, they look like bear flags and they go up. Then they look like they're going up and they go down. This is typical holiday action. Which means extremely difficult. So usually what I do with this, when I'm watching the markets, I want to show trades. I really, really want to show trades. Usually what I'll do is either look for something farther out, or I'll just go through like scans, a consolidation scans, or I'll do it the way that's free and go to FinViz. And all I do in FinViz is I'm looking for stocks in a group that might have been thrown out. So one of them is the biotechs. And all I'll do in there is I'll go through every active stock in the biotechs. And I'll see if any look good. The problem is they haven't followed through. Hardly anyone that looks halfway decent has followed through. So optionable over 7. I'm going to say over 100,000 because it's so early in the day. And because I've seen so many fail, they got to be over the 50. Over the 50. You'll see it's only 30 stocks. Over the 50. In fact, I can share this. There, biotech scan. I think that works. Not sure. Think it works. Not sure. Here you go. I'm not sure. But the key is that a lot of the stocks that I liked that were constructive, even with the biotech index itself going down last week, the ones that look good still at like TGTX. It's down 5% today, 1.37 with the markets up. CPRX went down. OLMA, all the ones I liked just didn't go up, at least not yet. Just didn't go up. So you can't just go and short an index and then buy these. It just isn't working. So just want to let you know. There's one that still looks good, sort of. But when I see this kind of choppiness, I usually just back away. Usually just back away and don't do anything until I get a better feel. So as a group, they just aren't acting well. That's all I can tell you in there. When it comes to the broad market, you can't see a thing in here other than choppiness, just total choppiness today into the CPI tomorrow. That's all I'm seeing. Now, just to let you know, I'm at the edge of my seat because I'm usually just trying to trade and try to jump on an opportunity. I don't know about you, but when I see that on an hourly or a 4 hour up here or a daily, the only thing I can do in here is look for intraday opportunities if I'm going to play on the downside because it's just not there at the moment. Or a extra long one because you're long some stuff and short some stuff, and that's about it. And that's all I'm doing right now. I'm seeing if there's, and that's where I am. All I can tell you is when I'm intraday trading in a historically strong time, that's not even easy. I'm just telling you, though, that if I see a bearish pattern, it's less likely to work in this type of environment. It's just less likely to work. If this whole thing was under here, that's a whole different situation. So just let you know, it's just not there, other than the NASDAQ won't go up. So the problem with that, you're still picking a top, still picking a top. So that's the big problem in here. So I'll stay on a couple of more minutes, but right now you're just stuck in a holding pattern, trying to find a tell. And I don't see the tell at the moment yet. And all day I'm looking for tells, whether it's bonds, whether it's like a big stock like Apple, whether it's some of the banks. You can see the NASDAQ doesn't want to go up today, at least not yet, other than Tesla. That's it. So that's where I am at the moment, which means I'm not doing a lot. So I'd love to just ramble on and show you 8 million things, and I just don't have them at the moment. I want to have them. I don't have them. And I'm still trying to find ideas. You're seeing my face go like that. I'm looking at a lot of screens. And unfortunately, I just don't see it at the moment. The only thing I can tell you is I would watch this relative to the SPX. So a lot of times SPX tries to go back to the strike price. That's all. And I haven't done anything, but that's what I'm watching. Now, right now, it's tough to get on at lunchtime, but I am watching this. Something to watch. Something to watch. Just the one thing I can give you a hint, try to draw a lot of trend lines up and down. Don't get preoccupied with only one way. So that's about all I can tell you. So I hope this enlightens you a little. And sorry I got on early, but I think it's going to get even slower later. So it was a good time to get on. So take care. I'll talk to you later.